Okay, so you can't see me, but in front of me is my buddy Steve Rose. And Steven has the, you know, what we have here is a sophisticated Mercedes collector. And actually, one of the reasons I wanted to interview Steven is I was thinking of titling this interview "The Joys of the SEC." So, Steven, you have 2 SECs. Tell us about them.
Lucked into, because where I'm from, there's a lot of Euro market cars in my area. A lot of military folks, I think they bring cars in from where they were. So, just in an hour's drive from me one day, I came across a. Which one did I get first? I bought them both in the same week.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that part.
Well, because I have a problem, clearly. So I got the gray market, in the 80s when you could get the hot car from Europe here instead of the lame American car. So there was a Phoenix, Arizona 500 SEC, which was the top of the line at the time. The guy has
an 85.
Yeah, this was an 85. It's for sale on Craigslist. The guy photographs it in what looks like a dirt road ball field of a grade school. It looks really poorly photographed. Not really described well. Less than 50,000 miles. I said, if this is what I think it is, And I called and checked it out and just let it sit on the back burner because this guy wasn't going to sell it, not knowing what he had. But eventually came to find that car. It was in literally a storage barn, this real cool place, back road, where it was taking room with a bunch of big-bodied Ford and Mercury product. Really cool stuff, but this was the odd duck, a Mercedes with dozens of, big, like Ford Galaxy stuff.
And what would the average person do?
Yeah.
They go, oh, look at these big American cars, they're so cool.
I mean, they had their love for what they had, but the guy that had picked this up was just a guy who liked to kind of go to auctions, find neat things, So he'd found this Mercedes and bid on it and got it from a charity auction, actually.
Best way to buy a car.
Yeah, well, it lucked out for me, because it looked to be what it was. Had the sheepskin seat covers on it. Shame on me for throwing them away. Now I find out people like them. But underneath was like the nicest, newest seats I'd ever seen in any car I'd owned, including new cars, because they had lost no color. They were great looking seats. Anyways, that's the 85. Then we cut to around the same time or so, and I said, no way. It's a 91, and I wanted to look at it, and it was a European market Navy pilot, like an F-18, like at the Top Gun type of plane. So the guy had been stationed in Germany.
Air Force, Navy guy.
Yeah, Navy. and my area is all Air Force and Navy, so there's, like I said, a lot of people that, you'll find an SL that somebody picked up in Italy and brought back with them, or you'll find So this was the 1991 European market 560 SEC. Like a nice kind of gray on gray on gray. But what was cool was, hey, can we pull it out of your garage that it was jammed up into? And as soon as it hit the street and just was parked, I was done. I knew. Because it had a Lorenzer, it had been, the original owner bought it and spec'd it out with this Lorenzer stuff, which would have been lowering springs, shocks, a set of wheels that were since gone, and some other stuff, I guess. I don't, but nonetheless, the point was the stance was
those crazy door panels.
Well, yeah, those wood door panels. I don't know if those are.
No, they're totally Lorenzer.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting kind of deal there.
All the manufacturers had some version of that.
Yeah,
AMG did it on some of the white body, but it's it's stuff that was really popular in on Japanese market cars especially.
Well, this was originally, now I don't know who, so the original lady who drove this around was a Japanese lady in Germany. So this would have been at the air base or the Navy base. I don't know how they kind of, So then the second owner, like I said, was this Navy pilot who picks it up, has it in Germany. Then he's stationed in California, which allows him to import the car. Then he retires to Pensacola. And same week I bought the white one, I buy this one. And it had these big, ugly 18-inch chromes on it. Because he broke his Lorenzer wheels on a curb. He took them to a scrap metal place because he didn't want to buy the one broken wheel. And I don't know if he knew how to find a good price on a used one. So, but he was cheap enough to keep the tires. So he mounted those tires onto 18-inch, like an AMG Type 2 5-spoke chrome. Really flashy, really bright.
Something that you'd find in like a 2000s car.
Just a terrible kind of situation.
Yeah.
But the car still just looked good, felt good, drove good, sounded good, So, Now I'm spoiled. You can't give me an American one. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So, like, have you ever driven a U.S. market SEC?
No.
See, so this is where things get interesting,
They
right?
gotta be a different animal.
What do you think that a U.S. car would be like compared to your Euro cars? And like, I think what are the attributes you like most about how the Euro cars drive or feel?
I've got to think that the American car is going to be. I'm gonna think it's spongy because I happen to have that lowering kit.
Yeah.
A person can fix that, but you can't. You don't have my engine, and I don't even have the hot engine. Like I'm 279 with the log thing. I don't have the tri-Y.
No, right, yeah.
But that's a damn sight better than 238.
But there are still some key differences on the Euro versus the U.S. engine. Like the Euro engine is the hot, easy L.
I might rev a little faster. I don't know.
Yeah, you have a higher rev limit.
Yeah.
You have a different KE Jetronic control unit that allows for basically wide open, as much fuel as the engine can get in the top end.
Yeah. No, this is a car that I always had concerns about. So one of the concerns I had about the car, and I'm glad that I was able to get it to someone who knew what to do with it, is I just assumed it was a stinky kind of non-regulated emissions sort of car.
Mm-hmm.
So that one difference between like this European car and American car.
The 500 SEC is a stinky non-regulated car, not the 560.
But again, even on the Euro 560, I would have assumed that the American car would smell cleaner. Lot of the kind of fuel and exhaust smells of my Euro car, I'd attributed it to being a Euro car and maybe less regulated. Now chances are it might have just been a car that needed better maintenance that I had given it up to this point. But those would be my guesses for the difference in American and that too.
Yeah, from my own personal perspective, driving a Euro market car versus a U.S. car, the Euro cars are definitely a lot stronger. The U.S. cars aren't bad; they don't drive badly, but there's just like, again, like this is why I was joking in the beginning about you being a sophisticated Mercedes collector. If another Mercedes owner who has like the level of sophistication where they appreciate the rest of the world cars just for being exposed to them,
not me.
Well, no, but they see. Well, you just passed go. That's all.
Yeah.
You didn't stop. So one of the things that happens is when somebody recognizes the Euro spec car, and they share that, like it's sort of like this thing among people like Mercedes cognoscenti, where we know that if we see a Euro spec car, it's something special.
Yeah, that's true. That I didn't know what I was looking at.
What made you interested in SECs?
I think it's going to be a formative thing, right? It's going to be I'm of a certain age, and probably that was a handsome or good car at a younger age for me. And even if I don't look into it that far, I think
there's got to be something about the car that appeals to you, though, more than you just being a kid when those cars.
I was going to say. I honestly think that even if I saw that car with fresh eyes for the first time, like my 111, Mm-hmm. Didn't grow up with one of those, but when you see one with fresh eyes for the first time, if there's something about the shape, the stance, and I had experience with a sedan and the solidity, the whole bank vault idea. So here's a coupe, and there's this beautiful thing, but it also has kind of a stature and a strength to it. It kind of looks like maybe a well-tailored masculine suit. Mm-hmm. I like that about it, and
what you described as timelessness. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, well, I think it's a well done and well laid out car, and just a great look to it.
Good.
And then I knew it was from the era when a Mercedes had the cachet that a Mercedes had in that era.
Right. So for all of you who are watching the newer Mercedes, things did used to be better.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And you know what? Real quick, though, I will tell you. My kid and I had this discussion, my poor kids. Several different cars to learn from based on Dad having. So we know different Mercedes and stuff. And I talked to them about this issue I have, and maybe it's a attitude problem, the real Mercedes. And this is my grade school age kids and me talking about what's a real Mercedes. And that looking down on them honestly comes from, I have the 126, we have the 111, or even the modern car is a really high spec with so we see some of the four-wheel drive stuff, some of the C classes, some of the other, and we know these are kind of a disposable consumer thing. But
It's good that you're teaching your kids that.
well, and even like the what I had, the 208, the CLK, which was mind blowing in 2000 when it was a year 2000 car. But now today you look at it and go, oh, it didn't age well.
There's
it didn't
a Taurus.
last.
I mean, a Mercedes, yeah.
But I didn't know. You know, in 2000, brand new in the showroom, that looks like a great car. But with the benefit of hindsight or with the benefit of time, you see it doesn't stand up to the test of time.
Like the SEC did.
Oh yeah, and think about it. Like my kids, you know, it's like I'm driving around in a 30-year-old car. I'm driving around in a 50-year-old car, 35. But these are one of the things that my son likes most about my, in this case, the 111. Everything on it, he says, everything's real, Dad. The leather's leather, the metal's metal, the wood's wood. Now, that's not completely true on the 126, but the 126 is...
Still pretty true.
It drives heavy. It closes solid. You know, everything feels planted and secure and strong.
Right.
It's just a well-made vehicle, you know?
There you go. All right, well, thanks. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot.
You did.
Sophisticated Mercedes collector. Are you going to chop me in for those